He was counting down.
Hey guys, this is the Unveil podcast with DJ Wavy.
Yo, this is DJ Wavy. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Unveil podcast. This is the second Christmas episode. Super excited for what we have planned for you today. So today we're going to be talking with a literature major. You know, one of those professional English speakers coming all the way from Antigua. Her name is Cortnie Joseph, and she is a graduate from the University of the West Indies. Like I said, she has a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature, and she is also the owner and founder of the No Folio non-profit organization, whose sole purpose is to further the advancement of Caribbean literature throughout the world. A little bit of what we're doing here on Unveil as well. Cortnie, are you here?
Hi, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey Cortnie, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us on such a festive day. We know that, the day after Boxing Day is very festive for Caribbean people.
Yes, it is. I actually have plans to go to the beach later.
What are you going to the beach for? It's COVID
To
time.
have fun.
Stay home. Huh? I hope it ain't more than 15 people gonna be at that beach.
Actually, just 4. It's a secluded beach.
Oh, private beach, rich people type of vibes. That sounds pretty good. All right, so keeping in line with COVID-19, let's talk about this story that I saw earlier this week, coming from the University of the West Indies. Now, I know you're a graduate, so I just want to know your thoughts. So it says here that UWI urges residents to take the COVID-19 vaccine, right? And this announcement was made last Friday, December 18th, at a meeting that was hosted by the UWI COVID-19 task force, along with some other members of the institution. What do you think about that? If you were still there, would you have taken the vaccine because they said to take the vaccine?
I wouldn't take it because they said to. I would do my research most definitely, but I'm the type of person I think I rely more on logic and science. I do see myself taking the vaccine regardless of them telling me to do it. It's been approved by a number of, I would say, valid organizations. So I definitely would take it. I've seen some conspiracy theories concerning it. I'm not gonna say that they're not valid.
Conspiracy?
I do think some of it is a bit preposterous. That's just my opinion personally. I don't think that the government should force anyone to take it, but I do know not taking vaccines does not only affect you, it affects others, so people need to take that into consideration.
Well, that's the most logical response I've heard from a Caribbean national as it relates to the vaccine. I must commend you.
Really? So do you share my opinion?
Well, I'm a different individual. I think that, I will take the vaccine eventually, but vaccines have proven to be, quite dangerous in the past. So it's just for precautionary measures. But I think I'll take it. I agree with you. I agree that, it's actually for the betterment of the entire society, the entire world, for most of us to take the vaccine. So yeah, eventually I think I'll get around to, getting the injection. But as it relates to being the first in the first 100 or first 200, I think that's not going to happen. Not for me, at least.
Oh no, that wouldn't be smart. I think one of the good things about being in the Caribbean in this pandemic is that things reach us last. So we get to sit and observe how the larger countries respond to this.
Yeah.
And then I think from there we can take logical measures.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I've only seen one or two countries, the governments of one or two countries. I think Jamaica is one. where they seem to want some of the first batch of the vaccine. But like you said, it's not necessarily all over the Caribbean. So I think we'll be in pretty good shape coming out of this.
Hopefully.
Yeah, man. So Courtney, if you are a regular viewer, you would know that we like to go through this thing we call the question box. And we're gonna do that, you and I. I see you laughing. I don't think the questions are outrageous today. We're gonna go through the question box and then we're gonna get straight into the interview, all right?
No problem.
All right, so question number 1. I don't see anybody's name on this. What's going on, y'all? Don't put your Instagram tags at Christmas time. Question number 1. What was your most memorable Christmas gift, Courtney? What was your most memorable Christmas gift?
That's a hard question.
Whoa. You from the Caribbean?
There's no spice story behind of this. So the kind of parents I had, it was not encouraged for me to take gifts from other people. And I think the first boyfriend I had was when I was in college, and he bought me a phone for Christmas.
A phone?
I thought
Oh, whoa. Hold on there. All right, continue your story. Let me hear.
He bought me a phone and cologne, and at first I was wondering if I should hide it from my parents because I thought they would tell me to take it back. I think that was the most significant Christmas gift I've gotten because of my reaction to it. But my parents were pretty cool with it, so it was all good.
Well,
not a spicy story.
Well, this is an important question. Well, I have two follow-up questions to that. Which year was this?
All right then.
Do you remember?
This was 2014.
Okay. What type of phone was it?
It was a regular. It was I can't even remember. I think it was a Samsung, Android. It was an Android.
Okay.
I didn't have a phone at the time, so I was using a tablet. So he just got me a phone and a cologne, a perfume. Sorry.
You get your phone so you could call him. All right. Can you on? Yeah, make you feel nice. Well, that's a very interesting story. I know that Caribbean parents don't even like when we take our friend's pencil back home. So I could imagine.
Nope.
I could imagine how scared you was to take a whole cell phone. For me,
I wasn't even sure I was allowed to have a boyfriend then, so it was just like I should hide everything.
Oh, you was hiding, man. Well, what is this? Caribbean mothers, please be meticulously careful with your daughters. My most memorable Christmas gift was when I got a Nintendo DS. That was like my first electronics ever. And when I got it, me and my brother, like when we got ours, we just was screaming around the house, just tripping, man. Super, super grateful to our parents for that. One of the best gifts ever. Okay, moving on to question 2. What is your favorite Christmas cuisine? Let me hear what you have to say, Courtney. What's your favorite Christmas cuisine?
Christmas cuisine. Oh. I've recently found that I love ham, but I've only recently started eating ham like a couple years ago because I grew up Adventist.
The king's meat?
Yes, ham. Ham is definitely top tier.
No. The king's meat cannot be top tier. Well, it can go on. I heard that you guys have your own version of pepper pot out there. Is that true? The guy needs to have the original pepper pot.
Oh, we do have pepper pot here in Antigua. Yes, we do. I hope I don't get any hate for this, but I'm actually not a fan of it.
Listen, you ain't gonna get no hate because as a Guyanese myself, I don't understand why we have to eat that. Like, I really do not. I don't like it.
No, I love you. Pepper pot. You guys have the best pepper pot.
No, that can't eat. That can't eat. That on the same level as Manish water.
No, bro.
I can't eat that. I don't like it. It tastes okay. If I was to choose between that and Manish water, I would choose that. But I don't
What's
like
that?
you.
Could you repeat?
Pepper pot. I would choose pepper pot over manish water, but
What's that? What is that?
my friend,
Is
I'm
that
going to
a
encourage
drink?
you to take a look at our old videos, and you will get an understanding of what manish water is. By the way, if any of you lucky ladies from outside of the Caribbean, ended up dating a Caribbean man and you went by their house yesterday and they gave you soup, I hope you know what kind of soup, especially if it's a Jamaican man. I hope you know what kind of soup it was, because manish water is not the normal kind of soup. That's all I'm going to say, Courtney. My favorite cuisine is I like the regular fried rice, baked chicken, mac and cheese, potato salad. That's regular things. I'm a normal guy. I'm a pretty. Repeat. What do you say?
Do you eat pork?
Oh no, we don't. We do not partake. We do not partake in that of the king's
What?
of the king's table. We don't partake in the
Is it
king's
a
meat.
preference, or is it for religious? Is it a religious reason, or just like personally you're not a fan of the taste?
Well, it used to be a religious, but the older I got, I tried the pork one or two times. I must say it made me lick my fingers. But with the whole health issue and all that, I'm not trying to put all that kind of stuff in my body. I grew up around pigs, so I'm very familiar with how they live and what they eat and what they do. So, one of those things. Final question coming from the question box. Which country has the best accent? Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh.
Who do you think?
It's tough. I mean, I lived in Barbados for a couple years.
Oh, you lived in Barbados?
At first, the accent was very hard to understand, but as I spent more time there, I actually think they have one of the best accents in the Caribbean, if I'm being honest.
You're telling a word a lie. You don't listen. We don't lie on the Unveil podcast, okay? We don't lie here.
I'm not lying.
The Bayesian people, listen, a couple episodes ago, I had a talk about, some of my Bayesian people and their accents, and they completely floored me on Twitter, man. It wasn't nice. The Bayesian people don't like when we talk about their accents. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to say that I honestly think they have one of the worst accents in the Caribbean. To be honest. Like, no joke. Between the Bayesians and I don't know, Guyana have some pretty bad accent as well. St. Kitts too.
What is
Um,
so which country would you put as the best Caribbean?
Miss, you don't ask me no questions. I interviewing you.
Hello.
All right, hold on. I think the best accent goes to probably Jamaica, and here's why. Because it's more recognized and appreciated around the world than most of the other Caribbean accents. I think that's a fair answer.
No, because you're basing your answer on what the rest of the world thinks. Is that your personal opinion as well?
I think the accent can go on. It can go on. It's nice. I
Okay,
like
then.
it. Ain't too
No
bad.
problem.
All right, thanks for participating in the question box with me. Remember, guys, send your questions next week so we could get them out. I don't know if we're going to have an episode next week. We might take a couple weeks break, regroup, and come back for the new year. So, Courtney, let's move on to the interview.
Let's do it.
All right, so first of all, your company name is Nofolio, right? What does Nofolio mean? How did you come up with a name like that?
So Nofolio doesn't have a particular meaning. I was struggling a day to figure out a word for my business. Literally, I got up one day, and this Nofolio was an idea I always had. But one day I got up and I said, just come up with a name, start there. And in about 20 minutes, I said, portfolio and novels. And I just combined it together and I got Nofolio. That's all there is to it.
Oh, that's a pretty good way to come up with a name, to be honest. I must give you props. Right? So your purpose, your aim behind this whole thing is for you to advance Caribbean literature, right? What made you
Yeah,
want to do
exactly.
something like this? Is it because of something you experienced in the past?
Yes, I would say that and a number of other things. I think in the Caribbean, parents normally push their children to pursue traditional careers such as like doctors,
Teaching.
lawyers, teaching, technicians, stuff like that. And when I wanted to major in English literature, I received a lot of harsh criticism.
Wow.
People would normally ask me, "What can you possibly get with that? Or are you just going to go and teach?" And even though teaching is traditionally accepted, there was this condescending tone I would usually get with it because people normally assume that teachers don't make money. I think
Money.
that's
Yeah.
rightly so. And so I got extremely tired of the stigmas associated with it as a discipline. And I think that governments regionally should push more, create more initiatives and opportunities for literature and other arts. And so I decided to create an folio with that in mind, basically.
Wow, that's pretty. That's a pretty good idea. Let's talk about some of these stigmas you just mentioned. What are some of the stigmas in Antigua associated with practicing writing?
People assume that you're broke. They don't take it seriously as a career choice. It's usually like, really? Tell me more. And they're actively listening, but not because they're genuinely interested. Sometimes you can pick up that they're listening for me to kind of validate why I would make such a choice because it's so out of the norm. And um, usually they would make comments like, "Oh, but make sure you get another job, a secure job. You can do that as a hobby."
Yeah.
And things like that would became very irritating. And people usually assume you can't make money for it, but I believe that it's only because we don't have programs down here to help us make money for it. So I write on a platform that promotes that. And I think if Caribbean countries would encourage students to be exposed to things like that, certain stigmas wouldn't exist.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. You know, in the Caribbean, a lot of opportunities aren't taken, and a lot of opportunities don't come our way because we think one way. You know, there's always go with a job that's secure. You know, don't necessarily follow your dreams. I think it's something that's plagued the Caribbean for a pretty long time, and it's one of the major things that has us behind the entire world. Because I honestly don't see why the Caribbean can't be in the same leagues as the other big parts of the world.
I mean, I agree. I mean, we will make the argument, colonialism we're set behind, and that's a fair argument, yes. But I do think we need to start decolonizing how we view certain things.
Definitely.
You have America. We rely on America for entertainment, books, movies, things like that. And if the Caribbean took some time to just put a lot of focus on the arts, we could be providing that type of entertainment and that type of books for our population. But like you said, we're behind and we could be like them if we just change the way we saw certain things.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I agree with that 100%. In the description of your nonprofit organization, it says that for Caribbean writing to expand in readership, monetary earnings, and respect, some changes will have to be made in the region. Talk to us a little bit about some of the changes that you think are necessary for this to happen.
So while we want to advance Caribbean writing, we also want to change the way we see it. And I think one of the ways to do this is to provide criticism of existing Caribbean literature.
Okay.
And I say this because as a university literature student, whenever we had Caribbean books that we were given to write essays on, it was really hard to find secondary sources. But if we were given American or European books to write on, there were a number of sources you could find online. And I think this was a reflection of how Caribbean literature is viewed internationally. And so one of the things Nofolio wants to do is, currently it's about maybe 3 people on board, we would take some time to go through Caribbean books and create, I guess, literary criticism to post online so that future students who are coming up and would have to go through the process of reading these books have secondary sources to find. I think this is one of the things that can help in the respect aspect of it. In terms of monetary earnings, I write online on Wattpad. Currently, I've taken down a couple of my books because I have to re-edit them. But there are a number of writing opportunities, publishing opportunities on that platform. I myself have been receiving publishing offers for a few of my books. I do not think that the everyday Caribbean writer is exposed to such things. I thought Wattpad was a well-known app, but a few of the writers that I have recently got into contact with do not know about this platform. And so we want to help, I guess, modernize the way Caribbean writing is done to help them make money in this respect by introducing them to platforms such as Wattpad.
Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good to help push, a lot of the content that we have coming out of the Caribbean, because I honestly think, especially the writing aspect, concerning the fact that most of our countries out here in the Caribbean were colonized by by Britain and all that. I think we would have a lot of great content coming out of the Caribbean, and this is one of the ways that we can push it.
I agree with you. I do think also that there's a certain expectation that comes with being a Caribbean writer, and that is that most Caribbean writers are expected to write about the colonial experience. And that's that's a difficult, I don't want to say it's a binary, but it's a really difficult thing to escape, because usually when I give people my books or my poems, they're expecting a certain content, and when it's not there, they're like, but I thought you were a Caribbean writer. And people believe that Caribbean writing is just supposed to be a single story about brutality, slavery, and that we can't relate to universal experiences like romance, friendship, things like this. And so I want to encourage Caribbean writers to not think that they have to write about this to be a Caribbean writer.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't think that people had that kind of view of Caribbean writing. So you mentioned that you wrote a couple poems, a couple books. Just give us a few, whichever ones that are still up, so that our viewers could take a look at them.
So on Wattpad, I took them down for editing, because I would say I'm my harshest critic, and I was not pleased with what's up currently.
Okay.
I can go into Google Docs right now and see if I can find a poem to read to you guys, if that's what you want. Do you want that?
What to do, just send us a reading of it, and then we'll post it on our Instagram page.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty good stuff. So now that we know the solution to this problem, you have your solution. Here at Unveil, we kind of doing the same thing. We're just trying to give opportunities to young creatives in the Caribbean who won't necessarily get a chance, because of finances and all of that. How could we collaborate? How could we work together? I know for me, I am a graduate. I graduated with a radio broadcasting degree. I'm getting into voice over acting and narration and all that. So I know I'll definitely keep in touch with you. So maybe we could work on some audio books, some audio versions of your books and poems.
I
But
would love that.
no
I
problem.
would love that.
But how else could we collaborate?
Well, I guess from a advertising point of view, you guys could help me with that. I'm not sure as yet. I'll have to think about that. But to mention your voiceover narration, to bring up your narration idea, I was actually thinking about creating a cartoon. So I wanted to collaborate as a writer with someone who does animation. And obviously I would need someone who is good at narration or voiceovers as well.
All right, cool. Yeah, man, we could definitely keep in touch. All right, so that brings us to the end of the interview. But just before you go, Cortnie, I want you to give some advice to anybody in the Caribbean that plans to go down this path, English literature, or that is currently doing it. And, the only end goal that they may have in mind right now is to, teach or something like that. Give them some advice as it relates to this field.
I would just say to drown out all that noise. Do what makes you happy. Don't settle for anyone's opinion on what you should be doing with your life. You have one life to live, right? And I always go by this philosophy. When you die, you die. But your writing, your art, whatever it is, it lives on. That's timeless. You want to leave something behind. And I think writing, art, those types of things are the best way to do it. You're going to make an impact, and don't let anyone tell you anything different. That's my opinion.
And on that note, folks, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Unveil podcast with the one and only DJ Wavy. Thanks to our special guest, Cortnie, for joining us today, Cortnie Joseph. You guys remember to check out her Instagram, NoFolio. Check out her business. Get in touch if you are a Caribbean writer, a poet, anything like that. Get in touch if you want to get your content out there, right? And remember to hit us up as well. Send your questions in for next week's episode. Well, for the next episode, hit us up here at Unveil Caribbean if you want to be a part of our show. Maybe we'll give you a feature if you pass the test. And until next time, guys, see y'all later.
Hey guys, if you liked that episode, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell to stay updated.